non-stop rock talk with Tyson Bryden.
So anyways, guys, great to speak with you. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
What's that?
Thank you very much for having us on tonight.
No problem. No problem. So before we talk about Chyld, I am kind of curious. I mean, for the readers, more or less, can we kind of discuss what, besides this, what you guys have been up to? Whoever wants to start, go ahead.
You mean in our lives?
Well, musically, I guess. Musically, lives, whatever.
Well, I mean, after sort of the metal thing died because of grunge years ago, I took a break for a while. Neal actually dragged me back into music with his wife and then another buddy of ours doing some cover stuff, doing some stuff around Ontario. And I started to slowly get back into it. And I joined Brass Knuckle Therapy for a while, another original band. Used to be Elvis Manson, and then I sort of got into doing AC/DC tributes because it was good money and good touring, and then I've been doing that for the last 15 years, which was where I saw you.
Yeah. Wow. Yes.
Which was almost my last gig doing that with those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they were there last year as a cover band, and Franklin was there from Slash Puppet. He was playing drums with those guys. Yeah, it was cool.
Okay.
And
Right
yeah,
on.
that was a great show. How about you, Neal?
Well, after Slik Toxik, what did I segue into? Oh, I started playing with a death metal band called Solus. This was back in the late '90s.
Yeah.
I did that for a while, and then I went into April Wine as touring drummer. And again, like '99, I think I finished in 2000. And then after that, I was doing the top 40 band with Pete,
Oh,
and
nice.
that was with my wife. And we did that for a while. Then my wife and I decided, okay, we had enough of like doing these shows all the time, doing a lot of road stuff around Ontario. So she said, all right, I need a songwriting partner. So at the time, I couldn't do anything other than play drums. So I said, okay, well, I better get my act together here. And I started learning guitar. I started learning bass. I started learning a little bit of keyboards. I started learning digital recording and songwriting, of course. And that led us to do a lot of music licensing. So we write lots of songs, and we license them to TV shows, movies, you name it. Anything that'll take music and they need music, we license our music for them. We've been doing that since the early 2000s, and we still do it now.
Wow. So you're busy. You're busy still doing music. That's like you both are. That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's nice to see. Like sometimes guys just totally get out of it, and like you said, Pete, you were out of it for a while, and then you got back into it. So that's fantastic. And I mean, you doing the tribute.
Chop my hair off.
I saw a picture on Facebook the other day of you with your hair chopped off.
I chopped my hair off. I got an office job and a cool office job, but it just wasn't me.
Yeah.
Didn't last long.
And then you grew the hair back.
Oh yeah, I had to. I felt like a dork with short hair. No offense to guys with short hair, but I felt like a dork.
It's all good.
You still got hair. That's what I can't believe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Look at that hairline.
I know, man. I wish I had that.
Just lucky. Just lucky, I guess.
Oh, it's all good.
It's all genetics.
Genetics, that's right. So getting to the reformation of Chyld, before we begin with that, can you guys kind of give me a history of the band, possibly from both your perspectives? And of course, we mentioned already Slik Toxik and Slash Puppet, so that was like the project, the stuff that you guys were doing before that.
Oh, well, actually, both those bands, Chyld was before anything.
Yeah.
Chyld was something that started in 1984, and I think, to my recollection, it was the singer Rob Villamere and the guitar player Glenn Cunningham. They had met up somewhere. I can't remember how they met, but Glenn already knew me through another band we had kind of played with, and then he brought Rob over to my place one time to meet me, and then that's when the kind of band started. We had another bass player for a while. It didn't last. And then we moved ourselves into this place called Safe Word Rehearsal Studios, which was up at Jane and Finch in Toronto here. And that's where I think Glenn might have already known Pete a bit back then. I can't remember. And Pete was in a band called Harlot, which were just down the hall from us. And one day we found out Pete's no longer in Harlot. So, hey, Pete, want to play with us? He just moved his stuff down the hallway and moved into our room. And that's when the band actually really got started, was when Pete joined up with us. That's the beginning as far as I can remember.
Yeah, pretty much. I had I forget where I met Glenn, but Glenn had originally come to my house in like 1982 to do a jam with me and Stan, or Morpheus Black as he is now, from Harlot, and Glenn came over and he was going to be our guitar player in Harlot. Then we got a phone call saying he had an accident at work, crushed his hand in a drill press or something, and he says, "Oh, that's it. I'm never going to be able to play guitar again." So we wrote him off, but we went ahead and formed Harlot. I guess I was only in Harlot for maybe a year and a half. And funny enough, I'd been hanging out in Child's room. I think I may have even jammed with him one time. And then one night I'd come back to do my regular rehearsal with Harlot to find out I'd been fired. So yeah, like Neal said, I just moved up my gear, rolled it down the hall, rolled it into their room, and that was that.
Wow. That's awesome.
Quite convenient.
What's that, Neal? Sorry?
Quite convenient.
Yes. So
But that was sorry. That was just the nature of Safe Word Rehearsal Studios. It was a huge place, and that's where everybody rehearsed. So everybody was there, and it was quite convenient. You know, when somebody left one band, just drop into another quite quickly.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, we used to have like we had Kid Wicked across the hall from us, and they got so sick of Sebastian sometimes they'd kick him out of their room, and he'd come into our room and jam stuff that our singer couldn't sing, and then of course our singer was tardy half the time. So yeah, there was all kinds of parties in that place. You know, Anvil was there, Rapid Tears, us. You know, like tons of Toronto bands was in this place. Safer. It was just, and it was like a 24-hour party hangout.
That's awesome. Yeah, the Sebastian must have been what, like 15 years old then at that time?
Yeah. I remember the first day he showed up coming down the hall with a really awful bowl cut haircut, and he's just like telling everybody he's going to be the next big thing. And we're like, yeah, sure, you're just some little kid from Peterborough, but you know.
Well, we know how that turned out.
Look what happened there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like in terms of Chyld material back then, did you guys? I'm sure you guys demoed stuff, and was there anything ever physically released besides demos or anything like that?
Yes, there was. In '86, we went into a recording studio, and that was my decision. I kind of said, all right, we got to do something. We need some kind of product out here. So I booked us into a place called Toronto Recording Workshop. It was just a 10-hour block, and we recorded and mixed 3 songs in 10 hours. Everything finished. It was all done. And then I said, okay, we got to do something with this. So I went ahead and went to a place called World Records, which used to be in Bolton, I think. It was like a vinyl manufacturing plant. And I had them make 1,000 copies of a single, a 45 single, a 7-inch vinyl, which had "To Light the Night" on the A side and "Ye Morlock," another song, on the B side.
Wow. I bet you. I'm sure that's hard to find now. Do either of you guys have a copy of it?
I got a bunch of them.
Really?
Neal used to use them as. Go ahead.
The funny story is, yeah, I had those kicking around forever. I had them at my mother's. She had them in her basement, like stacked up, and I think I had like still 900 copies of it or something were still left. And then I discovered it was the strangest thing. Somehow I found out that people were selling copies on eBay, copies of the record, and it went up as high as $350. Somebody bought one for $350, and I had no idea this was going on. So when I did, of course, like, okay, I'm going to cash in on it. So I started selling them myself on eBay, just waiting to get good offers, and I got some pretty good offers. Pretty good money came in, and then people started contacting me from different European metal labels and stuff, and I did a deal, and I got rid of 500 copies of the single back in a few years back now to these guys in Greece who run a fanzine called Steel for an Age, and they do a little label. So I actually ended up selling them all, which
Wow.
is pretty funny.
That is pretty cool.
I
30
still,
years later.
I still got some of them. Here it is,
Wow.
fresh.
Plus, the guys in Greece made us nice
That is
picture
cool.
covers for the singles. Was it those guys that made those?
Yeah, they did a reissue, and they actually did a really nice sleeve for it that I never had because I couldn't afford an actual good sleeve back in
Mhm.
the day. I just had the white one there. So, but back then, people were just starting to get into CDs. So when I made the single, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, what, are you crazy? Nobody buys records anymore. That's no good. What's that going to be good for?" And I didn't know, but eventually I got my revenge. It's like they were selling. I sold them all. I made a lot of, well, not a lot of money, but considering I got my money back, I made some profit for sure.
That's awesome.
Quite funny.
That's a cool. That's cool to hear. So, in terms of momentum from that, what did you get? Like at the time, was there much momentum generated? Like, was there label interest or anything like that?
Back in '86
Yeah.
when it came,
Yeah.
we didn't know what we were doing. That's
Hmm.
the thing. Like we kind of knew we were good at being musicians and good at being songwriters, but the business, nobody had a clue. Nobody knew what to do with the record, how to exploit it in any way. We didn't know about finding a label or trying to find management or anything. So, unfortunately, after all that and making the record and everything, it wasn't too long after that that it kind of fell apart.
That's too
So
bad.
I ended up with all these records kicking around. It took another 30 years to sell them all.
That's wild. That is so. I mean, like you said there was 900, so there is at least 900 Child fans out there
Oh
in the
yeah,
world. In the world, right? Because they bought the
oh,
single. That's awesome.
they all came later.
That's
Not
right.
a, right.
That is a cool story. So, um, when you guys were, I mean, when you guys were gigging, where would I'm assuming Larry's Hideaway, the Gasworks, was Rock and Roll Heaven around then?
It was just called Heaven. It was actually a disco.
Oh.
I'd done a gig there with Harlot opening for Helix in '84. And they had like the Q107 party with like Brian Adams and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But it was generally a disco. It was just called Heaven. I don't think it turned into Rock and Roll Heaven until about '87, '88.
Yeah.
But we were pretty much a Larry's Hideaway band.
Cool.
I think we did 6 or 7 shows, all at Larry's Hideaway. I think we might have tried to get in the Gasworks. I mean, we started off doing, kind of a mix of covers and originals, and by the end, we were doing like all originals, and I don't think the Gasworks wanted us because we just weren't playing the covers they wanted us to. So, yeah, it was basically Larry's.
Cool.
But we always had good shows, always had good turnouts. Um, Forget what we get paid, but
I
yeah,
think we
pretty
made
much
some
Larry's
money.
Hideaway.
We
Hey?
did make some money. We did. We did get
Well, yeah,
some.
but I got those receipts. I mean, for I don't know, $300 back then, I guess isn't bad for
In the 80s.
yeah, mid-80s. I mean, that's all of us giving out tickets
Yeah.
to all our buddies, and then a ticket would get like $3 at the door or something like that, and it adds up.
That's pretty cool. I never got to see Larry's Hideaway, so I was too young, unfortunately. So I never got to
You
go
It
there.
didn't matter. It honestly didn't matter because we had people in there like 12 years old sometimes.
Really?
There were kids in there 12 years old.
That's pretty
They're
cool.
like older brothers and sisters would bring them. Maybe they were supposed to be babysitting them,
Hmm.
but there were kids in there underage. I mean, that place was famous for underage kids.
I wish I had known that back then.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Um, so what other? I mean, at that time, because the the Toronto metal scene didn't really get bigger until like Slik, Sven, Slash Puppet until like late '80s, early '90s. So, what bands were playing on the scene then? I would assume the Killer Dwarfs were around then,
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of the guys that ended up in those bands later on were playing around then as well. So did you guys headline, or did you open for a lot of bands or at Larry's?
I think it was most. I think we mostly headlined, but there was one opening thing we did. Actually, two opening things. We opened up for Izod. Remember that?
That was our first gig ever.
First
We thought
gig.
we'll open up for
Izod.
Izod, see how it goes.
Really? I've never.
And
And,
were they doing a Priest tribute then still?
yeah,
Yeah.
That's cool. And I'm sure
and
that.
then we opened up for Anvil.
Right. Oh yeah, Anvil would have been around then too. Yeah, because the metal scene was kind of weird. It was like it kind of changed, right? It got a little bit fluffier, and then it was there's like two kinds of scenes. I think the early '80s is different than the later '80s and early '90s. It's just I don't know why that is, but I mean, the mid '80s was kind of more like like the Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Motley Crue was early on was kind of like a leather band type of thing, and then as the genre went on, it changed quite a bit, right? I don't know
Well,
if you guys.
I think you're right, and I think I know why. Because to me, when I was getting into metal in the early '80s, it was all about the new wave of British heavy metal.
That's right. Yeah.
And as the decade went along there, I think the influence of that scene was replaced by the Los Angeles scene, the Sunset Strip scene.
Right.
That's why the music kind of became a little softer.
Right.
Whereas like Iron Maiden, Motorhead, Judas Priest, that they're like real metal bands. The American stuff was still cool, but it didn't have that kind of vibe to it.
That's right. Yeah. And it's funny how it went that way, and it was funny because there's like certain bands that in that early '80s period did really well, and then all of a sudden when it changed, they couldn't sustain what they had before. Where Motley Crue, they kind of just they I don't know if you say they evolved, but they just changed their whole image every album, and then the whole genre kind of went that way, right? So and then you had
Yeah.
Guns and whatnot. So now here we are, 2019. You guys are back. So tell me,
Yeah.
you guys are back. So tell me how that all came about.
Well, we actually were back in 2012. Going back to Neal's story when he hooked up with these guys from Greece with the Steel for an Age magazine and started selling the singles,
Mhm.
we kind of looked at each other and said, "Well, look, we got some interest going here." And again, I don't know, probably Neal's idea again is like, why don't we get together and record? So back in 2012, we got together at Rob Villemer's house. Neal brought his studio over, his laptop, and his little digger, whatever it is that he records on, and we laid down a whole track, bass. Neal already had the drums done, so I laid down the bass. Glenn Dent laid down the guitar. We put vocals to it. We're like, wow, and we did that in I don't know, 8 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours. Um, but then there was a big break after that. It just we had the basics of the track down. Then we needed to finish it, and we just there was some procrastinating going on, and people have families and jobs and this and that, and we really meant to get back together to finish it. It didn't happen. Then Rob died. So then we were like, wow, now what? So we thought, well, let's. Luckily, I'd filmed a bunch of the stuff at Rob's house, filming all us recording this track. So we actually had video of him singing the lead vocal for this track.
That's
So Neal said, well, let's put it to video. So we have the song. Let's try and get it finished and put it to video. So that was our goal for this year. We'd had a couple rehearsals. We had a rehearsal last year, which is okay, but we had another one this year, which I thought was a lot better. But then when push came to crunch, Glenn decided he didn't want to be a part of it, and so we were then had to make a decision what to do after that.
Wow.
Because we wanted to continue.
Right.
Pretty much. And another thing that happened is because of my music licensing connections, I actually took when I took the I had the original 24 track master of the recordings we did in '86, and I had them transferred to digital. And I had done a remix of those three songs, including one song that nobody had ever heard. before, including ourselves. Nobody had heard it in like 30 years. A song called "Tell Me a Lie." So I remixed everything, and then I started shopping it out to a lot of my license company contacts. And one of them actually got a license for one of our songs called "Light the Night" on this Australian TV show. So once again, a little surge of interest that got us to be inspired. So that's when we started thinking about, okay, let's do some rehearsals. Let's even though Rob was gone by that point, we wanted to continue.
Mhm.
That's when we were told by Glenn Cunningham that he didn't want to continue on with the band. So me and Pete just said, okay, he gave us our blessing to continue. So we said, okay, we're going to continue. So we had the tracks, the vocal tracks that Rob had recorded, and the bass track done, a little bit of guitars done, and the drums. And so I needed the guitars to be finished off. So I went to a friend of mine who I knew from some other bands on the scene. He was in a band called Alpha Galates. His name is Todd Lefevre, guitar player, and I got him involved. And he came over to my place here, and so we waited like 7 years to get this song done, and he finished it off in 5 hours, all finished. And then I mixed it, we got it done, and that's when we started discussing doing the video. So then we went and filmed the video, and my wife, she's really good with the video editing software stuff, and she put together a really good video from the footage that we did, just a rehearsal studio. So it was really cool.
That's
It didn't cost much, and it looks great. It sounds great. So now we're ready to keep on going and see how far we can take it.
This is the Burning Alive video, right? We're referring
Yes.
to? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we didn't
Yeah.
specify what it was, so I better make sure that I say that it was Burning Alive.
Unless you've seen another one we don't know about.
No, I did see something. What was it? There's some live footage at a show in the 80s. Is that on the, I don't know where I saw that. Facebook, maybe. Did you guys post something?
It's either Pete's.
I think Neal and I both have old Chyld videos on
Yeah.
our YouTube pages.
Yeah, I was checking that out. It was cool. It was
Yeah.
really cool to see. So moving forward, so you guys are going to keep it going, and obviously you're going to get a different singer and a different guitar player. I would take it. Are you
Well,
guys
we're hoping that Todd Lefevre is going to continue with us. I mean, he's a really great metal guitar player, but he's just an overall great guitar player. He teaches guitar full time. He's in it, like that's his life, his music. We're hoping he's going to continue with the thing. I'm pretty sure he's going to want to carry on with it.
Cool.
So hopefully we won't have to find another guitar player.
Mhm.
We got the singer. Well, we're trying. I was trying out some people and kind of like trying to find a replacement. It's going to take a while. It is. We're finding that it is really big shoes to fill. Rob had a distinct tone to his voice, and it really matched in well with the music. But going forward, it's going to be new, or slightly different than it was before. But you never know; it could be better. Who knows?
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, we actually do have a lot of material left over from 1986, but we keep, like, I had it on this little cassette tape. It was just a bunch of stuff that me, Glenn, and Neal recorded one day. Rob had probably not shown up, so we're like, okay, let's just record all the stuff we have. And that demo tape was with me for the 30 years that we worked together. And I would often sit and listen to it while sitting on my balcony, and those tunes just always stay with me. So, I mean, we have, we've got a full album's worth of musical material that we can go ahead and finish because we think it's still relevant. And if we can find a guy who can write to it and make it sound relevant for today as well, hopefully within a year or so, we might have a full product.
That's cool. So it's a
So we're
total
hopeful.
total resurgence of Chyld 30 years later. That's awesome. That's
Thanks.
cool. That is really cool. So, I mean, I kind of wanted to touch on some other things too from both of you. So after Chyld, like, what did it break up in 86, 87?
Something like that. We don't. I was just there's these guys putting together a metal book on Facebook, 80s metal book. So I've been going through all my stuff and scanning stuff for them. And I mean, I found some stuff. I found this old little ad in my Chyld scrapbook. It says, "Oh, Chyld looking for a lead singer." So I'm like, well, we actually did start looking for a singer and did have a few rehearsals back in probably the mid 86, late 86. Um, but none of us really kind of know why we split up. I think we just kind of drifted apart. Maybe we didn't find a singer that all of us liked. To be honest, I don't think any of us liked any of them. So we just I think we just kind of slowly drifted apart and then started going our own ways. And I forgot where I was going with that point, but
That's okay.
well,
Th-
that's what you get for being my age.
I'm just kind of curious, like you mentioning that when we were trying to find a singer. Was there a ton of musicians around at that time? Guys just, or was it just like there was the same guys that were playing in different bands all over, there's probably not a huge amount of clubs to play at that time either.
Kind of both. I think there was still, I mean, there was a lot of musicians around, and because of Safer, you knew all these musicians. So I imagine we probably had a bunch of those singers from Safer in our room, but we already knew. It's like, okay, we don't really like that guy, or we don't really want that guy, but we'll give him a chance anyway. And
Right.
um, but no, the scene was still pretty good back then. Heaven was just starting to open. Like you said, there was still lots of metal bands out there.
Hmm.
The hair metal was probably in its biggest sort of thing
Yeah.
around 85, 87 ish. Like you said,
Yeah.
with Crew and everything. So um, there were definitely people there. Again, like I said, we've racked our brains trying to remember why did we just kind of drift apart. We just don't remember.
Right.
No.
That's
No.
funny.
Yep.
So, so what did you guys? So from Chyld, both of you, what did you do from there? You didn't go directly into Slik Toxik and Slash Puppet? I'm sure you guys were kind of around playing in that time. I mean, you were in VO5 for a short time, right, Pete? Is that correct?
Yeah, VO5 took place, I think, after Chyld, and I was living in Young and Shepherd area with Rob was well, he wasn't supposed to be living with me, but he was. So I was living there. Eventually, we all got kicked out of the apartment. So I think I moved home to my parents' place for a while, got a job. I probably took off some time, didn't do much. And then in the summer of '87, hooked up with a bunch of people, and Sebastian had just come back from doing a stint with Madam X. I bumped into the guitar player, Pete Friesen,
Freezing. Yep.
and in Long McQuaid, and he said, "Hey man, Baz is looking for you." I'm like, well, "Here I am. I'm living in Caledon." So we hooked up. VO5 was born. I think we rehearsed for 3 weeks in August. Did one show in August. Right after that, he went down to New Jersey to audition for Skid Row. He got the call in between time. He came back. We did one last show at Heaven, and he was gone.
Wow.
And then I kicked around. Uh, Baz had a guy named Sean Pilot handling his affairs, and he brought this guy Adam Baum up from New York City. So me and Bam Bam, Baz's drummer,
Yep.
we played with Adam Baum for a little while, but that didn't really work out. And then the following year after that is when I was contacted, funnily enough, by Glenn Cunningham, our child guitar player, to say, "Hey man, I'm in this new band with these guys," which turned out to be Slash Puppet.
Wow. Wow. And Neal, when did you join Slik Toxik? Because you were the last to join, right? Like of that lineup.
Yeah, it was '89. After Child split, I met these guys who had just come back from California, the BIT, the Musicians Institute
Yep.
in California, and they were obviously really good players. So I wanted to play with these guys. Guitar player was named Gary Procession, and bass player was Adam Headland, and they were like shredder guys, like really, really top-notch players. And so we ended up putting together a Van Halen tribute band for a while.
Yeah.
With a singer named Nick Rack, and we did the circuit for quite a few shows for about a year or so. And that segued into another band called Legend, Ledgend, with a singer named Joe Donner Sincel, whatever he called himself. And he was from a band called Steel Lily. They're an infamous
Still.
uh, Canadian circuit, heavy club band,
Yeah.
doing an Aussie tribute actually. And while we had that band Legend, we were out on the road. We toured across Canada all the time, playing shows. Went out west, came back, did a lot of stuff. And then the sound man, he contacted me one time. We got back. I was going to quit the band. I actually did quit the band at one point. And he contacted me and said, this management company has this band called Slik Toxik, and they're looking for a drummer. So I said, well, that sounds cool. I'll check it out. So he gave me the contact information for the management company. So I contacted them, and they said, yeah, come on down and pick up a tape. So they weren't there at the time, so they left it in the mailbox. So I went down and picked up this tape, and I took it home, and I put it on, and it was just the most god awful prog rock. I was like so disappointed. I was just floored. Picked up the phone and I asked the management company. I said, "Are you sure you gave me the right tape? Because this doesn't sound like street hard rock,
Yeah.
sleaze rock, or
Yeah.
whatever I was promised." So they said, "Oh, sorry, that's one of our other bands." I'm like, "Oh, thank God." So I actually got the real demo tape, and it was a lot better, a lot better. And I could tell right away Nick Walsh was definitely a standout singer. The tape, the songs were really good, and he stood out. And I thought, oh, this is quite promising. So I checked it out. Initially, I think I was just supposed to do this demo session. Like they weren't really sure if I was going to join the band or whatever. So I kind of forced my way in. I just said, "Look, I'm your drummer now. That's it. That's the way it's going to be." Plus, I mean, I'm pretty good, so.
Well, here Kevin told me I think it's going to be in the book, and I shouldn't give too much away about that, but um, that he said you used to do Painkiller as a warm up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he said it was just like blew him away. He's like, you got to hear Busby play that, man. It was just like, it was amazing. So
Well, I was doing all those flicks before that came out. I've got it on videotape. My solos live at Rock and Roll Heaven in 1990. Or 89.
Yeah.
I was doing those flicks long before this, so he might have been listening to me.
yeah, he might have been. That's funny.
Travis ripped me off.
So Pete, I mean, getting
Hang on, let me
sorry.
tell you a little secret there for a minute.
Oh, sure.
Going back to the child days when we were in safer rehearsal.
Yeah.
If myself and Glenn spent like let's say 30 hours a week at rehearsal,
Yeah.
you can guarantee that Neal was there for 60 hours a week practicing his drums.
Wow.
The guy was in there all the time, more than us. We would show up and he'd already been playing for like 2 or 3 hours. He'd be drenched in sweat, and we'd be like, it'll be like all steamy, and we're like, holy crap! Like that's why he's a machine.
That is awesome.
Practice, practice, practice.
I mean, do you guys have? And I'm asking these questions, but I mean, we're kind of talking about Chyld, and we're kind of back on that. Do you guys? Is there anything else? Any other stories you guys want to talk about Chyld, so that we can, give it a little bit more? If there's anything you guys want to talk about in terms of it, that you can off the top of your head. If not, we can.
For me, I mean, okay, I did Harlot. I've done Van Halen tribute bands, AC/DC tribute bands, Chyld, Slash Puppet, which is sort of the hair band, Brass Knuckle Therapy, which is sort of a hardcore, thrashier band, and I love AC/DC. But to be honest, out of all the bands I ever played with, Chyld for me gave me the most freedom. Nobody told me what to play. Nobody told me what to wear. Nobody told me what to do or anything. It was like we were ourselves. We wrote music for ourselves, not for the radio or anything else. And like I said, with that little cassette tape I had that I listened to all the time, I just look back and just, I can't listen to the Harlot material. It's just not there for me. The Slash Puppet material, I don't listen to that. I listen to Brass Knuckle Therapy now and again, and I was even in a punk band in New Jersey for a while called The Flu,
I was
and
going to
I
ask
listened
you
to
about
that,
that.
and I
That's
listened to
good.
that for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but Child always came back. These tunes were just so heavy and kick ass, and um, it was just the band I just keep falling back into. And I guess the point that me, Neil, and Glenn never fought. So you know how bands fight. You
Yeah.
know, there was never any girl issues. There were, um, yeah, that's all I can say. It's just that I keep going back to Child because it was the best thing for me. It was the music that I think I wrote my best stuff to, and I think Neil has said the same, and Glenn has said the same.
That's cool.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. It was the one band where it was totally about the music. And like Pete said, you didn't have to worry about, like trying to look a certain way or even being part of a certain scene or anything. We were not thinking anything like that. It was very natural, very organic, and a lot of freedom involved in it because nobody ever got a hold of us. Like we didn't have to listen to management. We didn't have to listen to a record company or even be involved with a producer or anything like that. We hadn't ever been subjected to any of that type of restrictions. So that's why the music flowed very freely without any inhibitions. And that's why, like Pete says, I still listen to it. Like I was listening to it the whole time that, like nothing was going on, just listening back to it, how good it was. I did a lot of band, like Pete did a lot of heavy bands too, like the Knuckle Therapy. I did a band called Soulless that was like death metal, and that was a lot of fun to do. But when I listen back to it now, I can't listen to it anymore because the singing. I mean, even though the singer in the band was actually capable of doing great things, just the growling and the indecipherable singing that he was doing, I can't listen to it. I can listen to it because I really thought I did a pretty good job on the drums for that style of music. It was fun to do, but I can't listen to it for the music of the lyric or the actual vocal parts are just horrible. And that goes for the. I used to be quite into the style of music. I can't listen to it now, but I can go back and listen to like Dawkins or something good with some good clean melodic vocals or
Melody.
Child,
Yeah.
same thing.
Perhaps the reason that we didn't get picked up by management or a record company, anything else, sort of didn't tarnish our band. Um, One other thing we did do was I entered our after we took a little hiatus, or did we break up? I don't know. But I thought for the hell of it, I sent our tape into the Q107 Homegrown contest in '86, and we made the top 25, which blew me away because they never had metal bands on the Q107. And I think that was sort of gave us a kick in the ass to get back together in '86, and then that's when Neil took us in the studio and we started recording stuff. But we did try some stuff. We tried to do some stuff. Well, we did get we got a few little write-ups in like Northern Metal. Drew Masters put some blurbs about us in Metallian. Um, we got a little bit, but it just, I guess we didn't push it enough at the time to try and get anywhere with it. But we worked hard. We were in rehearsal 5, 6 days a week. Well, three of us were. um, you know, and we worked hard. The three of us worked hard, and that's why we have so much material today. I think is because we just. And it's funny, even earlier this year when me, Glenn, and Neil got back together, Glenn came up with another riff, and we could have written another song
Wow.
this year.
Wow.
It's still in us.
That's
So
fantastic.
yeah, so we're going to continue because we got nothing to lose. Um, and like with today's technology, we can sit here and do this, and I don't even have to leave my house.
I know it's amazing.
Neil's trying to get me to do my bass tracks here at home, and then just email them to him. I'm not that up on technology yet, but at some point, I guess I probably should, and then I'll never have to leave my house again.
That's
That's the
awesome.
idea.
What's that, Neil? Sorry?
That's the idea. I'm just wondering what is the background that Pete's in there.
I
It's
was
some.
wondering the same thing.
It's you know what phone core is, Bristol board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to work for a company where they used to make these things. It's just a piece of It's a piece of foam core.
That's awesome.
See?
That's
Okay.
good call. That's cool, man.
And I got a bunch of different ones. I got this. I got ones that are hockey rinks. I got forest, trees. What happened? Went all
Had
dark.
it
Oh, we
perfect.
messed it up on him.
Yeah,
I
whatever.
shouldn't have said anything.
Sorry, Pete. Well, we're not recording, so it's okay. We're recording it, but we're not recording the video, so we're.
Oh, I was getting too much backlight. When we did a test, it was during the day. I was getting a lot of backlight from behind. I was just messing around with the camera, so I thought I'll just stick something behind me for now.
That looks. It looks cool though. It's awesome. Um.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you mentioned the flu, Pete. I was actually kind of curious about that. So, i- if I remember correctly, that was some Rachel Bolan was involved with that. Was he in some way? I can't remember exactly. When you went down to
I'm
Jersey,
sorry,
can you
you were
hear me?
breaking up.
Oh, am I? Oh, it could be
Yeah,
the
I can, but
connection.
you were breaking up a bit.
Oh, is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, ask the question again.
Yeah, I was just curious about the flu. You mentioned that. Was
Yeah.
that something that I can't remember. It's so long ago. Was Rachel Bolan involved with that and you went to
Yes.
Jersey?
Yes. Um, After Slash Puppet sort of got dropped by Ray Daniels and Anthem and SRO, um, there was a lot of, well, this is my opinion of it anyway. There was a lot of band infighting going on, and I felt like I was being pushed out. Those guys wanted to be more bluesy and keyboards and slide guitar oriented, and I was still a metalhead. So, oh, my light's back. So yeah, like probably 8 months before I left Slash Puppet, I started looking for other work, and I had Dave Snake, Sabo, and Rachel Bolan. I tried Ask Baz, but I don't think he really looked for me. But those two guys started looking around the United States trying to find me a band. I almost got the call to be in Faster Pussycat until they rehired. They had a fight with their bass player. I got a phone call from Rachel saying, "Hey, can you be on a plane tomorrow to LA? You can have an audition with Faster Pussycat." That didn't happen. Then hanging around my buddy Ron Boudreaux's house, his buddy came home, who is Dale Kennedy, who's another Peterborough guy. He had been in the flu for the past year or so, and their bass player quit. So I was sort of like, hey, I like the band, I like the music. There's already a Canadian in there. The band was being sort of managed and produced by Rachel Bolan, so I thought, well, there's an in. So I figured at the time that was the best opportunity I had to further my career. So in the space of 2 weeks, I packed up all my stuff, quit Slash Puppet, and went to New Jersey.
Wow, that's cool. So how long were you down there for them? In Jersey with that
Three
band
years.
for 3 years?
3 years. Yeah. We when I funny enough, I got down there and suddenly they didn't have a singer. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm thinking, singers are the worst thing to find. So I kind of felt sort of stranded. I'm like, wow, I'm all the way down in Jersey, and this isn't even a band now. But we did find it. We did eventually find a singer, and very quickly after we had the singer, we actually had a showcase for Atlantic Records, and they showcased us and Godsmack, and Godsmack got signed. We didn't.
Wow.
We had another showcase with Atlantic Records about a year later after a Toronto chick took over the A&R department. I can't remember her name. I wish I could. But she looked us up and said, "Hey, I want to see you guys again." So we were supposed to do another showcase, except our drummer didn't show up for the gig. Um,
Whoa.
we're still not sure why. Yeah. So anyway, I got kicked around New York for like another 6 months or so, playing with one of the chicks from the Cycle Sluts, doing a band called the Believers. We actually came up and played the Gasworks.
Cool.
And then I got stranded. And then they wouldn't let me back in the States, so I got stranded in Toronto,
Oh,
and that was '95, and yeah, that's when I kind of took a break from music after all that.
well, I
It
mean,
took me a few years to get back on my feet.
Well, mentioning, I mean, just talking about 1995, that was just a whole change of direction for everything. I mean, by that time, by 1995, everything had music had changed so much, right? Too. So
Metal, yeah.
metal had
Well, metal
changed.
had gone and grunge was in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the grunge was already full by then. But because I was in a punk band and Green Day had hit it big in 93 or 94 at the Woodstock reunion.
Yeah.
So I kind of figured, okay, I'm in a punk band and we were sort of similar. So I figured I was on the right track.
Right.
But yeah, music was changing so quickly then.
It did change
Um,
quickly.
and by the time I got back to Toronto in 95, everything had changed. Gasworks was gone. Heaven was gone. Half my friends were gone.
Yeah.
It was a big culture shock for me.
I'm just trying.
Yeah,
I mean, I saw Slik Toxik at RPM. RPM was around then. Uh,
yeah.
94 maybe, Neil? Would
Yeah.
that be around when that show was? 94, I think. It's on YouTube. Um, so I mean, getting to asking around that time, Neil, about Irrelevant. Um, I had a question on that. Hold on. What? I mean, for Slik Toxic at that time, after doing the Nasty and then the whole thing with EMI and everything, I mean, I think Irrelevant's an underrated album, but I mean, you guys didn't have the full label support either because EMI was gone and it was distributed by A&M, I believe, right? Strawberry Records, A&M.
Yep.
Um, how do you feel about that album actually?
I think it's really good. I think it's kind of like it's a two-sided kind of CD. They're like, you can tell there was two camps in the band at the time. The band had started to separate itself, and you can distinctly hear that the different sides of the band happening. But when it came together, there's some really good songs on there that I'm quite proud of. The heavier stuff that we did, and what I like about it is some very unique arrangements. It was quite different, obviously, than the first album. Uh, Still as uneven as the first album, but musically stronger, lyrically stronger in some ways. But nobody heard it because, like you said, we didn't get the push. There was actually an offer from EMI at the time that we could have gone out on a subsidiary label, but it was turned down.
I knew
So
that.
he
Yeah.
ended up just leaving the label and going with Strawberry Records
No.
and going back to Phase One recording studios.
So was that something like you were cool with the subsidiary thing, and then other guys just kind of outvoted you on that, and you were, you know,
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't have much say in the business matters at the time. I probably just went along with it. I mean, hindsight, 2020, it might have done better if we'd gone on a subsidiary label. But like you said, that the scene had changed so much. I mean, we were told by them. I think that's why I came up with the name Irrelevant because we're being told left, right, and center that our style of music was not relevant anymore. So I said, well, it's just called Irrelevant then. Doesn't really matter what it's called. But yeah, that they were telling us that we weren't organic. I think Kevin's probably told you the same
yeah,
thing.
he has.
What does organic mean? Nobody knew.
Yeah.
Nobody had any idea. But Toronto changed so much, and hindsight being 2020, it's like it changed so much, but it changed so much for the worse. Whereas prior to the grunge takeover, it kind of had it was developing its own sound. Bands were kind of like developing on their own and getting influences from outside sources, kind of like what happened with Chyld.
Yeah.
We were influenced by a lot of different things, but the collective sound was unique.
Yeah.
And Toronto was starting to get that happening. And then all of a sudden, boom, it just changed. And everybody changed along with it, like sheep. Everybody just, okay, I got to look like this now. You see people all of a sudden that they're wearing, like I wear Doc Marten boots all the time, but everybody changed their cowboy boots to Doc Marten boots literally within a 2-week period.
Yeah,
And then everybody changed to flannel shirts and everything. And it was done, the whole scene. And it sucked the life out of the scene in Toronto and destroyed it. It destroyed the club scene. And as much as I like Nirvana, I hate grunge bands, pretty much all of them. And the strange thing is, they're all dead now. That's another thing. They've just promoted drug use, and I hate drugs. Hate drugs.
Hey, you know what? I mean, you nailed it right there. That is just it. It was, I mean, as a fan, it was horrible because you're like, it was so confusing. And the thing with Toronto was, it's like, okay, you would open up Metal Edge and you'd see, like, for instance, there would be the guys in Skid Row wearing a Slash Puppet T-shirt, or there'd be a thing on Slik Toxik, and then all of a sudden, the only Toronto band that anybody cares about is I Mother Earth. You know,
Yeah,
like, right? And it was like, oh, screw the rest of those bands. It's I Mother Earth now, and that's the sound that everybody should be listening to. It was.
yeah.
I don't know why it couldn't just coexist together. Why couldn't you have two different sounds? Like, what did it matter? But people's perception, right?
Even to this day, though, that whole scene of music that came from Toronto, and all the bands that got successful, and even a lot of the hair metal bands in general. If you listen to a station like 97.7 Hits FM, which were all over Slik Toxik at
Yep.
the time, and bands like that at the time, when that scene was big, they act like that scene never existed. And like you said, the only the only Canadian band that they play from those times or around those times is I Mother Earth and maybe the Tea Party and stuff like that. But it's like, well, why aren't they playing the stuff that was very popular prior to that scene? I don't really understand why it's not being played at all.
Yeah, and
It's like prejudice against it. But I'm really disturbed when I think back to how things changed in Toronto, and to me, it was not for the better.
no, and I agree with you. It was like they just kicked bands to the curb. I remember hearing Dive on 97.7. I believe I did hear it once or twice. But I mean, you could put that song beside I Mother Earth and it would hold up. It wasn't like you guys were like a Slaughter or something like that. You know what I mean? You guys were a legitimate hard heavy band, and I mean, I think it could have stood up. You know what I mean? But the powers
Well,
that be didn't want that to happen.
I agree totally. And a big thing that made Slik Toxik different was the lyrical content.
That's right.
It was quite serious. I mean, White Lies, Black Truth was a pretty good anti-drug song at a time when all the Seattle bands were coming up, and they're all dying of heroin.
Yep.
So that to me was like a positive message that was being put out with really good lyrics behind it. But we're just lumped in with hair metal. But
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff really doesn't belong in that category at all.
No.
It was heavy music, songs like Sweet Asylum,
Midnight
Midnight
Grind.
Grind, even Crashed. Like a lot, like Hell of a Time was pretty good, but the serious songs, It's Not Easy, good songs and different lyrics that didn't fit in with the LA party scene, like the LA party rock scene that was happening. We don't fit in with that at all. That's what I mean. Toronto was developing its own thing.
That's right.
Everything was getting kind of cool for a while, and then boom.
Goodbye.
Yeah, it's like sorry, but the only thing, like they're always saying, one day you're hot and then you're not. That's the entertainment business.
Yeah, and that's
It's
kind of the way it was. And Pete, you were kind of out of it for a while. You were in Jersey more or less during that. I mean, when did you move down to Jersey?
92.
92, yeah. So from 92 to 95, you were kind of out of the.
Yeah, and New Jersey and New York were completely different. I mean, we were, well, they had WSOU, which is the college radio station, which plays metal 24 hours a day. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. You don't get that in Toronto. So I had metal every day. Plus, I had the Howard Stern show. You didn't get that in Toronto at the time either. So there was two new things I had there. When we did gigs in New Jersey, I mean, yeah, we knew the grunge scene was coming up and stuff, but and I remember distinctly the day that Cobain shot himself. That was all over the news, MTV, of course. But I mean, when you did a gig down in New York City, most of our gigs were, if you want, we did New York City, Manhattan a lot. There'd be 8 bands on the bill starting at 8 o'clock, going until 3 o'clock in the morning. And you had a metal band, followed by a pop band, followed by a punk band, followed by a magician, followed by, I mean, you had, and I was blown away. I thought the competition that down there was, 10 times what it was in Toronto to make it in a band. I realized how big it was. So, but yeah, I didn't, that's what I mean. When I came back to Toronto in '95, I was sort of shocked and blown away. It's like, wow, what happened? I didn't see it happen. Neal was there; he saw it happen. But by the time I got back in '95, it was just changed. Everything had changed so much. You know, people. I came home. My best friend was listening to rap and hip hop. I was like, what happened to you? You know, yeah, totally. I was lost. The music industry was lost for me when I got back.
That's unreal how
Yeah,
quickly it changed, right?
just 3 years. I know. I
Yeah.
noticed a big difference even with traffic, Toronto traffic. I was like, what the hell happened to your traffic? Yeah, so much happened in 3 years. I didn't realize, and I was coming back, you know, 2, 3 times a year. I wasn't down there solid the whole time. I came back for visits. I mean, you can drive back in 8 hours. So
Right.
I came back a few times, um, and thought everything was cool. But yeah, when I actually moved back in '95, yeah, big shock for me.
Wow. So what, like Neil, you mentioned the death metal band that you had played in. Were there clubs in Toronto to play at for that style of music in that
Yeah,
time? Yeah.
we played quite a few shows in Toronto. I can't remember all the places. I know we played the Alma Combo. We played. I think there's a place called where the Big Bop was. There
The
was
Big
some
Pop.
place in there. I can't remember the name of it. The Cathedral.
The
Yeah.
Cathedral. Yep.
Yeah, we played a lot of shows around Toronto. That scene kind of once it got started, it could survive anything. It'll just always be there now. There's still bands like of that style that are huge around the world. But like to be involved in it, you can see that it's just this little underground thing that's just a layer that's always going to be there, like a layer of mud. It's
Well,
just
I mean,
always.
that's that style of music that people that love it will never go away from it. It seems. It's not a trendy thing. It's just always there and people seem to love it. So the people that love it and that's it.
Well, I dabbled in it strictly for the drumming,
Yeah.
and it was like a fun thing to do. And really wanted to push myself, and I did. I pushed myself to the limits of the speed that I could do with that band, and it was fun. We did a lot of cool gigs. We played at the Milwaukee Metal Festival 2 times, which was just nonstop death metal, 3 different stages, 20 like just like probably 18 hours a day. Bands would start at like 10 o'clock in the morning and they wouldn't stop till like 3 in the morning. Just
Wow.
craziness. And we played there and did pretty good. Held our own against some crazy bands like Mayhem and Cannibal Corpse and all these crazy guys.
Wow. And I bet you the audiences were insane.
Oh, the craziest I've ever seen. Just nuts. Just crazy people.
That's wild.
Scary people.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, guys, I took up an hour of your time. I thank you. Is there anything else you guys
Oh,
want to say about Child before we go? Just so I can, if there's anything at the end you want me to put in there, and anything at
well,
all.
we are looking for a singer. We do have some prospects, but if you want to put it out there,
Yep.
that we're probably, I guess we're still looking at this point. We're still looking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, make it known that people can contact us through you or whatever.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, exactly. At least putting that out there is a good thing because, I mean, depending on, we get a lot of readership, so I mean, and it goes all over the place, so you never know. So hopefully that'll help.
Well, yeah, me and Neil have been discussing, like, well, who do you know? Like, nobody anymore. Who do you know? Nobody anymore. So, yeah, we're not really sure who's out there. We've had, like Neil said, we've had a few prospects that we're still looking at, but yeah, we'd like to see who else is out there. To be honest, you know, if we don't know how far this can go. Like you know, Neil's getting response from his musical agents using our music for TV shows and stuff. We could continue doing that. We've talked about maybe doing a live show, but that's way off for now. But you know, we don't know. We have no idea how far this can go. So we're not getting any younger. It's like this is kind of the only thing I think the two of us really have going on. So we're putting our time and effort into it to see what we can get out of it and see see if people still want to hear us.
That's awesome. Well, guys, I wish you guys the best of luck. Are those the songs on that single, Neal? Are they on YouTube?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, I'll check them out. I haven't checked them out yet, so I will. That's cool.
You
They're
can go
on-
to you can go to my SoundCloud page. They're up there too.
Oh, they're up there too? Okay, will
Yeah.
do. Yeah. I just
I
checked.
think there's an address for that on my Facebook page. Are we on Facebook? I believe we are.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're friends
Okay.
on Facebook. I'll check it out.
I believe my address is all my stuff is on SoundCloud. Chyld, Harlot, all of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, sorry, just Chyld. Just Chyld.
Just Chyld. Just Chyld. Okay. Well, guys, thanks very much. And once you guys are up and running, and hopefully you're going to play some shows, and I will be out to see you guys. For sure. Sorry.
Great.
Cheers, man. Thanks.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Have a great night. And
Hey, man, don't get all choked up. It's okay.
yeah, sorry. All right, guys. You have a good night and take it easy.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
How do we shut this thing down?
Well, I was wondering that. Oh, here we go. I think you just have to hit the telephone button or the camera button. It'll shut off.
Red one.
What's up?
The red button, I think.
I think so. It's the
I
red.
don't have a red button.
Well, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm out of here. Talk to you guys
Okay.
later. Okay.
Nice.
Later, guys. Have a good night. See ya.